Hey, good morning or good afternoon. We are just starting in this, time that I never know if it's good morning or good afternoon. Um, I hope everyone is hearing me well. We are 3 minutes after the hour because we are having some issues with the sound from Joelle. She's connecting from Lebanon, as you probably already know. And she's getting some trouble with. Oh, she's in. Let's see if now with the sound. Let's see, Joelle, if now we have your sound coming in. We have your statics, not your sound, not your voice. Okay, so Joelle is still dealing with I'm going to mute you for a little bit until you figure out. Joelle is still trying to find out what is going on with our sound. And yeah, we're having sometimes these questions, these technical issues. That's life. But I also want to take this time that Joelle is going to find a way to connect with the sound to let you know that every Tuesday we do this live podcast at 12, and we have a variation of things. So sometimes I come by myself with my topics, and sometimes we have our guests, and our guests are normally people that I personally know. I like to do that because makes me also let's say connect with the work that they do, not only by image or a book, but also I really get the experience of what is to work with them, and I make sure that everything that they bring in is something that I can also let's say I consider congruent and align with the most strong values that they have. So this podcast is a place that we always try to bring new perspectives, and we try to do that because I personally believe that the biggest thing that we can give to each other is perspective. So we have this thing that says, "Oh, let's see if Joelle now can you speak, Joelle?" No, still not. Your sound is not coming in. No, your sound is not joining us. Yeah, it's your sound. I'm just no. I can you hear me well, right? I hear your statics. Is a sound of a static sound, but your voice is not coming in. Don't worry. I'm going to talk, and if you can after maybe try to come in, it's okay. Yeah. Okay. We keep so do something there, connect with the energy, and we speak. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, technical problems. I just want. I was saying that the main thing that I believe we can offer each other is these perspectives, because it's impossible to see the world try 2 times the same, first of all. So we ourselves have always the possibility of creating new perspectives, but we cannot also not be doing this exactly the same way. So each person has a very particular perspective, and they will see things always in a unique way, right? and bringing a little bit, and I want to let go of the topic because I think the topic is so relevant about relationships and about how can we bring each other to a more healthy and a more connective relationships. That I don't want to let the topic go. I think it's also a great moment to do so. Joelle was going to bring us also the astrological feel and how this is so relevant for us, but she will join us in any moment, so let's hope. And what I will start to say is that one of the topics that is coming at this moment is really, really the topic of can I amplify
Hello.
the. Hey, she did it. You are here. I knew that you could do
Oh
it.
my God, I'm terribly sorry to everyone. Okay, this is why we usually I don't record on eclipses, but I got eclipsed.
You got an eclipse, exactly. So I was just saying that, and I was saying that I didn't want to let go of the topic of relationships because I think is the moment that we need to talk about it, right? And I was saying that the you also will bring to us why is this the moment, right? And you had just said it like the eclipse and all the things that are happening,
Yeah,
and this
yeah,
is, I don't know if you feel the same, Joelle. So for the ones that are joining us for the first time, me and Joelle, we know each other for many years. Joelle is a coach, but so let me put it this way: she uses coaching tools in our readings, and she works with astrology. So we know each other for a long time. So we have conversations at least one time per week, and it's like 2 hours talking. And the last one that we had, we really said, okay, you know what? We need to bring this to more people. We need to put this conversation out there because
mm,
I personally feel that energy, the energy of people looking for, okay, what is going on here? And it's not about themselves only, but how do I connect with the world and how I connect with the people that I love and how I connect around. So that's why we decided to, Joelle was here already with us one time, and we said, no, we need to do it again. So, Joelle, first question for you, and I think people now got a little bit curious about. I get curious about. So, what is going on in terms of global energy? What is going on? What can we, look for or
yeah,
expect?
right. Yes, yes. It's first, thank you so much for first of all for taking the time to just say that we need to record this and to be innovative in coaching, because I have to tell people this: if you weren't that innovative and that creatively oriented, I don't think I would have stuck to coaching, really,
Yeah,
because it's never the tools, really. It's always about tools, right? But it's never really the tools, it's the core of like the present intention and us navigating together towards something.
yeah,
So in regards to how I use, so what started this, so we give people a little bit of background. We
yeah,
said that we were talking about the energies. Like I was telling Lígia that I love to use astrology and astrological symbolism, because I use astrology as a language to understand the currents. Because yes, sometimes we are going through a lot, and that's of course because we're human beings. But there are a lot of times as well that we are navigating our own life within a context that is in turmoil. Like, for example, in my case, I live in Lebanon, and
yeah,
Beirut is, a bit up in the air in regards to, what's happening
yeah,
economically, politically, even safety wise.
yeah,
So and you are in Amsterdam and you have different conditions and you have your own life to deal with while, all these energies are happening.
Yeah.
So the thing is, right now, tomorrow morning, actually, in our part of the world,
Part of
we're going to have an eclipse, a full moon, which is like the normal lunation. We have a new moon and a full moon every month. Every 14 days, we have like a big lunation, which is either a new moon or a full moon. But 2 times a year, we get a pair of eclipses, which means a pair of lunations where one of the luminaries gets eclipsed because of the, ecliptic. When Because the Earth tips, and so the rotation is not always like in a regular shape. Say, one of
Joelle, let me just give
yeah,
you a
yeah, yeah.
tip. When you move, we get the sound thing. So keep your sound. I
Oh,
know that is
okay.
difficult for you.
Yes.
So, but
No,
like,
I'll keep being. Thank you for telling me, by the way.
yeah.
So yeah. So this time we have a full moon and we have the Earth in between the moon and the sun. So we're not going to be able to see the moon fully eclipsed. And eclipses are times of shadow, let's say, because the sun and the moon symbolically are the only, not only symbolically, physically, they're the literal luminary. The light
Yeah.
comes from the sun during the day, and because of the reflection the moon does, it illuminates the night. So the moon usually represents mothering, the body, the unconscious, the emotional realm that we have. And when normally on a full moon, people go, usually you feel like the energies are like full and you have either parties or like big disputes, or something gets revealed. Like we have this every so we're getting, somehow we get used to ambulances a lot during the full moon. But the eclipses times, usually 2 times per year, they come on a seasonal change. And they're here to
Okay.
mark a passage, like a sort of a passage where we go from a state to another, which is in nature super normal.
Yeah.
However, in our modern days, for older generations, like ancient times, they used to be
Yeah.
much more closer to nature. So they used to intuitively know that, oh my
No.
god, these times are not, better just hold your ground and
Yes.
yeah, like stay next to the wall and
Just
know what
like,
you're doing. Yeah,
yeah.
and ground as much as possible. But in our days, there are a lot of people who like to use like and in our world it exists a lot. Like people like to put intentions and to manifest. That's great on a normal new moon, full moon. But on eclipses time, we usually rest. People who like to pray, they pray. People who like to meditate, they meditate. And specifically, this full moon that is eclipsed is in Pisces, which is very emotional. It's the last of the zodiac. So symbolically, Pisces holds the all. And if
Okay.
we have this kind, is it still cutting
Yeah, it's cutting a little bit.
now?
No, but continue. Now
Okay.
it's good.
So when we're talking about Pisces, we're talking about watery emotional grounds. And probably people are feeling it because already Mars, the planet of vitality and drive force, is in Cancer, and honestly, it's going to take a while in Cancer because at the end of the year we have a Mars retrograde. Mars does not like to be in Cancer because it's not its place. Emotions are, usually emotions are not really good for vitality. Usually, if we're feeling a bit sloppy, we don't have the vitality to just go and do stuff.
Yeah.
However, if we're smart enough and if we use coaching, when we know the energies, we are capable of understanding what can we do. Like if I'm feeling very emotional, I'm not going to hide for the next 6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Because because eclipses are like a reset point. Like they reset our year 2 times per year. And this is a new phase of eclipses that is starting in Pisces and Virgo, and that's going to stretch until 2027, back and
Oh,
forth.
okay.
So it's not to put pressure on people, but it's just like we always have cycles. And just like in the sea, we have a lot of waves. If
Yeah.
you're wanting to cross in the sea, you're going to learn to ride the wave. There's nothing wrong. There is nothing shameful. Or, I sometimes listen to some of my, guy friends who are a bit like, yeah, but isn't it a female tool? I'm like, yeah, females are very good to navigate, unseen worlds. But Ronald Reagan had an astrologer in the White House, and in
Yeah,
1998 we
but
had like
let me, yeah,
a book about this.
because, but let me put something there. I think sometimes, and as a coach myself, of course, I think sometimes people put a lot on themselves. Okay,
Yes.
people put a lot of charge on, even for instance, imagine sometimes happens like someone comes and says, oh, I'm having a problem in my relationship or in my marriage or whatever, and they really are even willing to take the responsibility to solve whatever needs to be solved by themselves. And I go like, whoa, that first is not possible. Second, you are not in this alone, right? So even that, I think sometimes is useful to say, okay, of course we are an element, okay, but we are inside of a context. And that context
Yes.
is much more than you are in Lebanon and I'm in Amsterdam. Okay, we have a broader context, and I think more information about we have about the context, the more we can decide what type of thing I want to be doing and how do I want to be in this context in particular.
Yes, because eclipses time, and usually there is a lot of upheaval emotionally in couples and families, family stories. It depends where it hits in your chart, right? Like some eclipses are okay. You've already, if you
Just
have lived like at least a decade of your life, you like if you are 10 years old, you have survived like what, like 20 eclipses, 20
yeah,
eclipses or 40 eclipses. So you get four per year. um, it's not like you're not going to survive. It's all about
yeah,
how to be smart about it,
yeah,
because no energy comes and gets stirred, especially in relationships, and we know that.
mm-hmm, yeah,
If there's something that triggers you, you can call it PMS, you can call it eclipse, you can call it full moon, you can
yeah,
call it oh yeah, the neighbors were were doing a lot of noises for the
okay,
day. Something gets triggered for a reason. There is something that needs, if something is stirred up, we need to talk about it. It's a relationship, it's a ship where we are
yeah.
relating to each other. And I think this is what anyway got us into this conversation.
Yeah, and this idea that and of course, like again, also this context, and I think sometimes people also lose because it's an habit. Okay, we are born in relationships. We are born from a relationship, whatever that relationship is. So we sometimes forget because it's so common for us that we are always relating with something or someone, right? And I think we lose the track about that way that we are relating and even sometimes with ourselves. Okay, but let's put this now a little bit from the external. And I think sometimes we lose the track because it's something that we are always doing and we are always inside of it. I think we lose the track about how I'm relating even with the world, you know? So I think people are a little bit distracted. I don't know if it's even distracted or a little bit numb because like, okay, I'm always in a relationship, so what can I do? And I think sometimes people don't have that stop of saying, wait, how do I want to relate? How do I really want to be in this space?
Yeah. And when you say that, it what clicks for me is how I relate to the astrology language
Yeah.
because of all of that, because relating and relations and love and connectedness are ruled by the principle of Venus, which is anyone who read anything about Jung understands, archetype and principles in life, beauty, art, everything in astrology is under the rulership or the dominion of Venus. And Venus as well rules values. And when you talk to me about the relating part, I always have a tendency to connect it to values. So I think when we're a bit numb or a bit distracted because now, we're in the era of, AI and like super technology and a lot of information. Everybody is like bombarded with information, which information tends to either enhance a relationship, like in our case, for example, how we relate to each other. Sometimes we have spent more than a year not seeing each other. We relate through the internet, through our the talks, so the communication. However, if the communication is not about something that stirs or resonate with your personal values, no matter how effort you make, you are still abandoning yourself at some point because you want the relationship. So
Okay.
what you're talking about is the relating part.
Yeah.
And the relating part needs a constant checking in. Like, does Lydia, like, do I trust Lydia? If I ask that, yes, okay. Does she meet everything that I feel like I need to trust a person? Because this is in my personal values. I cannot love someone or relate to someone if I don't have trust. And you need to, pick, how do you say it? Like break down.
Yeah.
Right? Like break down. What is it
No,
valuable for you?
I need to provoke you in that
Yeah,
because you
go
said,
ahead.
okay, I cannot relate with someone that you don't trust. That is not true. You relate, but you relate in a different way.
Yeah, in the context of being in a relationship.
Yeah,
I can relate
exactly.
without deciding to go into the ship.
Exactly.
Thank you for the challenge. I love it.
Right. So, and that is the thing, is that we cannot not relate. Even with that, like, do I trust this person or do I don't trust? I'm already relating with that person, right? I'm already looking for that information.
Yes.
Let me put it this way.
Yes.
So, and that is the thing, is that we are always relating, but we are not always aware on the decisions that about how I want to relate. So
Agreed.
most part of the time is what I see is people looking for, okay, can I have a relationship with this person? Because the relationship, I'm a friend, is someone that I just know. So if you put that label, right, gets a little bit like, you get a little bit of, oh, this can happen, this cannot happen, this can happen, this cannot happen. You know what I mean? So you have a little bit of a checklist about what that relationship
And how
means.
many of us do that?
Right. But the truth is that you are still relating with that person, but you are not sometimes taking a conscious decision about how do I want to relate with this person?
Yes. And how take conscious decisions if you're not triggered either
Yeah,
by
exactly. Yeah,
something happening within you. Most of the time it's something happening without that triggers you, and then you're like, oh, I wasn't conscious that our agreement got to this point,
yeah,
because we're been living
yeah,
life, right? And this is where I
yeah,
find, connecting with the energies, astrology, whatever tool you want to, navigate the universe with. It's important to understand yourself. Where are you in your own context? Because you're busy doing life, I'm busy doing life. How do we relate to each other?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we can use these like triggers, or eclipse times, where we don't see very well, where we have like maybe some chaos happening. Most of the time it's chaotic. Like August astrology was very chaotic. The full moon of August was very chaotic because of Uranus, that is the rebellion planet. So when we think of this, we're
but
like,
let me
yeah,
use
go
that
ahead.
example. Let me use that example because I didn't knew that. I didn't have that
I
information
remember.
that
Yes,
August
please
that
tell them.
August was whatever. And then I remember that I called you and I said, "Oh my God, what is going on? What is going on?" Because I'm getting this was really things happening. Was not like only my head. They were really happening around me. And I even called and said, "Oh my God, what is going on?" Because it seems like everyone is like, and I'm in the
Yeah.
middle of this, and I'm not feeling it, but I'm still being triggered by it because yeah, it's happening around me. And then you told me, "Oh yeah, it's normal, it's okay because this is happening," and I'm like, "Okay." And this is something that happens a lot
Listen, I
with
don't
us.
say it's normal unless I
Normal,
see that
yeah.
it's not affecting you. Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But this happens a lot with us,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I say, "Hey, I'm feeling this and this and this," and you say, "Oh, okay, you are feeling exactly what I'm already seeing it in the charts." So that means that I'm not
Yes.
special. Everyone is feeling it, but of course, I think I have something that sometimes people don't have, that I can express what I'm feeling.
First of
I
all, you
can,
can express, and second, your chart was hit at that time. But
yeah,
thank
yeah,
God it didn't translate in a personal way. It translated
no.
more in your environment. Uh, but listen, I we need to tell this to people, is that like, you call me and talk about the energies because you already work with astrology with me. Like, we have
Yes,
sessions regularly, like 2 times, 3 times per year. This is important because if you don't know the blueprint you came with, like you do with coaching, with
yeah,
NLP specifically, like
yeah,
you understand more of your own blueprint. Like, how do you get information? How do you react? If you don't understand this, and the good thing about astrology is that it can show us like the internal blueprint, very possible, but it can show us as well the circumstances. So if we're talking about like when you felt like, do you mind if I tell a little bit, like, generally what happened? Like, you had a group of friends, there was a lot of, upheaval, like even your parents, the kids. And if someone doesn't know, like, and like, we work together, so if I didn't know your birth chart, I would be panicking. I would be like, oh my God, is she okay? But what happened is that because we work together, because I see you always dismantling some, old beliefs, replace them with new. Somehow I'm always called to tell you, like, yeah, this is happening, because you're not afraid. You're just like, oh yeah, it's
yeah,
another wave. And I think people would get a lot of benefit if they start relating to each other first of all, by understanding the context, because sometimes people are really, run down, they're at the end of their rope. you know Give them grace, it's not easy. And
yeah.
sometimes when these energies trigger something that is being chronically ignored or put
Mm.
aside, well, this is going to be a tsunami. This is not going to be a high wave.
All right. Yeah,
It's going to be a
yeah,
flood. And this is how I think people forget to relate about others. We're always
Yeah.
like expecting,
Yeah.
like, yeah, what's wrong with Lydia? She's not calling me, or
Yeah.
like, just check with the other person. Maybe they can't
Yeah.
call. Maybe
Maybe,
they can't
yeah,
talk
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
But also, I think one of the things is that I do surfing, and but for the ones that don't, and one of the things is that I remember the first time that the sea was flat, like nothing was happening, and then my I said, okay, what do you do? Like there's no waves, so what we are going to do? And my teacher at that time, he said to me, use the flat sea to work on a balance. And I was like, oh, that is interesting.
Wow, I
That is
love
interesting.
this.
So this means that when you are using all your circumstances, whatever they are, sometimes they are flat, like, oh, nothing is happening. Use that, to train your balance, to stretch out, to see. And when it's coming the wave, just use whatever you learn, like balance or whatever. Okay. And I think sometimes, or at least what I see is that people tend to react always when, like, for instance, okay, it's a tsunami, let's run. But yeah, you don't run too fast because you didn't use the time that was not a tsunami to put your skills up. So that means that in relationships, I also see this a lot. Like people tend to act or start working on the relationship when something doesn't correspond to their expectations.
Yes, yes. There
So
is a
it's,
delay. I don't know if
yeah,
you're
as, yeah, it's okay now. It's okay now.
okay. So there, yeah, that's the problem, right? Like the maintenance, because
Yeah.
we were talking about this, by the way.
Yes.
Relationship, any kind of relationship, your colleague, your friend, you're just your neighbors, our work,
Yeah.
their work.
Yeah.
You need to put in energy.
Yes.
There is some intention to be put. There are some before the expectation. Like if you have expectations, well, checking on yourself as well. How much are you putting in? Are you putting
Yeah.
in as you're expecting? And if you are putting in, did you validate with the other person if they are expecting, so much? Because sometimes we give people so much love
So
that they
much.
don't want,
Yes.
they didn't ask for, they're not
Yeah.
ready
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
receive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but
It's
I
a
love
song.
you. But I love you.
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
don't you
Yeah.
love me back? Like,
Yeah.
read the
Exactly.
room.
Or
Read the
yeah.
room.
Yeah. I has a song that I from a group that I really like, that I discovered not so long ago, and it's Amstad, the name of the group, and they have a song that is bigger than this, of course, but they say, I'm ready now. And I love this song because love, I'm ready now. And it's all about this. Like sometimes people want to get close to you, for instance, but you go like, no, I'm not ready for that. I don't want it. And the person is like, oh, but I have the expectations that if I give, I will get back the
Yeah.
same way. And I like, that doesn't work like that. And at
Yeah.
the same time, are you working? Because I also see this, like people have expectations, but then they don't do the work. They don't, like, the expectations is from me to outside, and I don't put it as, okay, if I want that, what I also need to be doing. It's like
Yeah.
you isolate the person as like, you need to be, or this relationship needs to be what I imagine, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what I need to do for that.
Yeah. And not, and some people who even like, I've seen people who that they neglect by just
Yeah.
keeping, the expectations. There's a lack of maintenance. For example, you met a new friend at work, you have bonded so much on lunch, you know, and every time you say, and I notice it a lot, like, oh, we should catch up soon, we should do something soon, and you never do that. Why are you
Yeah.
saying this? This does
Yeah.
not create good expectations from. This shows, like, what we say to other people marks them, whether in a good way or a bad way. And I'm not saying that, oh, if you just said it once and, you know, you didn't follow up on that, oh, you'll be in, you know, relationship prison. No,
Yeah.
but it's just
Yes.
like being aware that that neighbor you told them that you're gonna pass by, you never passed by.
That's right.
These are like chips in the relationship.
Yeah.
You start and calling people regularly, calling them, not texting them. I know we're in the era of, you know, internet and you know, quick. I text you when we're running between meetings. You text me, yeah. But most of the time, it's either voice notes or we call each
We
other,
call.
because
Yeah.
vibration and call, it's effort, it's maintenance, it's balance.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we want to
Yeah.
maintain, if we love, if there is love, this shouldn't feel like work. It is
Yeah.
work,
Exactly.
but it doesn't
Exactly.
feel like work if you have the intention to maintain the relationship. But when it becomes work only because of expectations, then you have a red
Yeah.
flag. Then you're like,
But
ooh,
yeah, but also this idea, and I do this sometimes. You know, I said, oh, you know, if um, because expectations also means that you are putting a person or a relationship inside of, you know, this box that, oh, this could happen, this could not happen, da 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 da. So that is already like I'm not relating fully because I have this, you know, ticks a list that I need to follow. And one of the things that sometimes I do is like, okay, imagine that I don't give a name to this relationship. I don't say we are friends or we are colleagues or I don't say anything.
yeah.
And I just say what we do, you know, what we do. For instance, I remember one time I had a client and she was speaking and I honestly thought that she was speaking about her husband
Mm.
because she was telling me, oh, you know what? This made me so sad. And I said, okay, but what happened? And the way she was telling, I thought, oh, she's in my head. I was like, okay, I could put this in the box of a romantic husband or boyfriend or something like that. And then I felt this going on in my head. I like, oh, but I don't know about whom she's talking. And I said, okay, but who is this person? And she told me, oh, it's my tennis partner.
Oh,
And
okay.
I
Yeah, I know.
but she was so hurt by something that he did. And the way she was explaining it to me and the way she felt, I felt,
Mm.
oh, okay, this should be a, you know. And I decided, I hurt myself and I said, oh, but I'm just speculating. So I asked her, like, about whom we're talking about. And she said, oh, it's my
Yeah,
tennis partner. And I could
because
not
he's in the
hold on.
box. He's in the box of tennis.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah,
can't go
but
out of it. He's in the
yeah,
tennis
but
jail.
yes, he's the tennis partner. But what and how she was feeling about something that it did to her was as anyone in a relationship, a romantic relationship, could be saying that about a husband or a boyfriend or something like
Mm.
that. And I go
And we
like, wow, you know,
and we see
she
this
had
a lot,
a
right?
lot,
With
right?
people, because we have expectations from the husband to be the husband, from, you
Yeah,
know, the neighbor to stand their ground this way. And the thing is, you could, like, the more we're open to love, to the principle of Venus, to this, you know, the connectedness, the more we want more of that, and the more of that comes with the balance, like you said. And Venus rules the balance, the scale of Libra, as well as Taurus. So, which is fascinating as symbolism, because yes, it's work, but it needs the scaling. It needs to be balanced. It needs to, yeah. Listen, we talked about
Yeah.
this a lot. How much are we like connecting people to their boxes, like what we expect them to be, how we are expecting them to behave,
Hmm.
and this is how we lose them. Like a lot of people,
Yeah.
I noticed that they lose relationships because the other person did not you know stand up to the standards they put.
But let me go back to something that you said. You said that relationships, the way that I relate with other people, and not only people but around me, is ruled by Venus, right? And
That's and
that's
yeah,
reasonable.
that's in
That's
the
okay.
archetypal astrology. Yeah.
Okay. If I don't know if everyone has the same image, but for me, Venus means this. If I think about Venus, I really feel like the freedom of, just open my arms and saying, okay, everyone is welcome in a good way. Like
It
everyone is
depends
welcome.
on how Venus is in your chart, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in
Okay.
like
Okay.
in general principle, yeah, in the
Okay.
book.
So let's go there. Let's go there because that's what I wanted to go. It's possible that let's say, like you're saying, like depends on how Venus is in your chart. It's possible that we have people that, let's say, cannot relate easily, and you can
Yes,
see it in a chart, and
yes,
you
of
can see
course,
it in a chart.
of course, of course. But listen, even people who cannot relate easily,
Mm-hmm.
even them, they have a sort of like there is a layer of connectedness they have with. And I was reading a book by I think um, forgot the name of the author. She was saying like we're always loving. We'd only need one friend. Oh, I think it was
Mm.
Oprah who said it. She
Okay.
was talking about her friendship with Gail, and Oprah said I think that she needs like only one friend in her life,
Yeah. Yeah.
and y- and otherwise like the others are extra because when you have this feeling of connectedness, it gives you it satiates the hunger. It
Mm.
fills you up. You don't really need a lot. You need the quality of the connection. And yes, some people have more ease in other and relating to other people, but no one, even the movie stars or the rock stars that you see, like they do not relate to so much people loving them.
Yeah.
Really people, the little circle they have, big or small, that they love, because this is the way it is. The more you give in, the more you connect to other people. If you only expect to be given,
Yeah.
that's more ego than
Yeah.
relatedness.
Yeah. 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 So let's say that, for instance, if we know the position, or how for us in our map, Venus is the position
Yes.
and what she's ruling, let me put it this way, it can be that we can also maybe look for, okay, this maybe for me could be more a challenge. Can I find other strategies or
Yes.
other
And there
ways?
are
Because
other strategies.
this
Yes.
will be also navigating the wave, right?
Right. Totally.
So that means that we are not saying, oh, this is it. No, it's just like, okay, now that I see this, I can also decide how do I want to be doing this.
Yes, exactly. And can you hear me? There's a bit of delay.
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, so so the way I love to coach people through reading their birth chart is about
Yeah.
looking at what we have. This is the map. No one has an ideal. Like ideally, you would have all the planets their own domicile, and they would be like so strong. It's impossible because they're always moving, And
Yeah.
since they're always moving, you have like a baby popping up, and it will have the chart of the moment, right? Like we're all
Yeah.
a moment in the sky. That's what
Yeah.
we are in our blueprint. And we come with strengths and we come with challenges. But Venus and Jupiter are two very benefic planets. Even if they are struggling, they do no harm, but they might not be as, generous as they can be if they
Mm.
are in better conditions. So once we
Yeah.
start understanding these principles, and once we start putting Venus in the chart and saying, okay, in which sector of life this Venus is functioning, where are her domiciles, what she rules, Taurus and Libra. For example, in your case,
Yes,
you
you
have
can use
Venus
my case.
in the 11th house of friends, and you have been known since you were a kid to have a lot of friends, to be
Yes.
connected to groups. This
Yes.
is how your Venus functions. However, Venus rules as well your home situation. And me and you like we know this about each other. You love your house and you
Yes.
love your plants, and
Yes.
you're like very fierce about them. Venus rules as well your philosophical side,
Yes.
being a philosopher, and you had a degree in philosophy, and then you did coaching, and so everything that is public, like belief systems
Yes.
and dismantling belief systems, this is what your Venus rules. And when we tapped into your chart, we noticed that you have another part that is very in the chart. So you've always been
Yes.
been a doer. The more we talked about it, the more you started more connecting to these, like, very natural, organically. You had friends, right? Like, you didn't
Yes.
really go and
I
look
did.
for
Yeah.
friends. I
No.
remember that. Exactly. So this way of connecting to your chart, we start to understand, like, okay, so where do you usually find your friends? Where do you usually find, like, connectedness?
Yes.
Someone who has Venus in a more challenging, for example, in the 12th house. I hear a lot of people online, oh my God, I have Venus in the 12th. I'm never going to meet someone. No, you're always going to meet someone.
Yeah.
You're always going to, love and be loved. Maybe not in a traditional way, but I know a lot of females with Venus in 12th house who, got married, have kids, but they have a different kind of relationships. They're not, maybe they will be more shy to be in public intimately. They
Mm.
prefer like more intimate settings,
I do.
or,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yes, you can work. I mean, no, like, like, this is like the most cute, like in the Smurf
Yeah.
village. For me, she's Smurfette.
Okay.
Okay, I got
The like.
cut frozen.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got a little bit of cuts right now, but we are also reaching this time our time, and I know that you are launching a new program right now, and I think will be because I think is sometimes is about that. It's about getting more information that
Yes.
then we can say, okay, how can we navigate this that is coming?
Yes.
So can you just in like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, maybe even
Two
less,
minutes because it's
two
not
minutes,
still
yeah,
launched. I think it will start to be launched by, let's say, yeah, by next month.
yeah,
It's called Astral Playground Meetings, and they're gonna be like a series of monthly meetings, probably like bi-monthly, and with maybe a bonus like question session,
yeah,
where we're
yeah,
gonna meet to just discuss the energies. It's like, it's not gonna be like complicated. We're gonna talk about like what we talked about like right now. Um, like more about the energies that are happening, if we're navigating an eclipse time, if it's very emotional. Well, if there is Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, and you're being very emotional, I'm gonna tell you, we have to hold on to these like big decisions, of course.
Yeah.
Like if we can help each other by just, if you just wait 2 weeks, maybe you're gonna take a clearer decision that is gonna be more long lasting. And it will always depend on what people need. We're gonna run a beta version by
Yeah.
the end of the year, and hopefully people can join. It's gonna be like a
Yeah.
monthly,
Because
like
because
small,
yeah,
yeah.
because I think, for instance, I remember that what was one time last year that I really felt like, oh my God, I'm going to cut my hair. And then I said, no, no, wait, not the moment. And sometimes these decisions, I think sometimes you can just say, hey, I know what is going on, and I will hold on to what I have right now, and instead of running after what you're feeling and how this is going, right? So I think
Yes,
knowing a little bit what is going on can also say, hey, this is not a moment for me to decide this right now, because I'm not feeling stable, for instance,
yes,
emotionally or whatever.
exactly, exactly. And maybe, I mean, maybe if you cut it, it would have been okay. But,
Yeah,
I'm sure that when you cut it from a place where you are more stable, more clear with yourself, more ready to celebrate you,
yeah,
Venus rules the hair, for example, you're
yes.
going to feel more self, more
Yeah,
relatable.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And if and it's less chances. I'm giving this example, but a lot of different things can happen, like signing a contract or making
Yeah,
a business decision. Like,
yeah,
is the right time for me to decide, for instance, to stop something, or maybe I'm just,
yeah.
being ruled by something that is not really the best place to take that decision.
Yes.
So I think more information you have, more possibilities you really have to navigate these waves and to not get under the wave. It's like, okay, I'm seeing the wave, I know what this means, and I'm ready for it, you know.
Yes. And a wave is a wave.
Yeah, will
There will be
pass.
there will be a lot of waves, but you
Yes,
know
but each one of them, each wave passes as well, right? And so
exactly,
that's, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Some of them we will know how to navigate, some of them not.
Some of them not. Yes, some we just like, you know. Okay, thank you, my dear,
Thank you. I'm so
for
sorry
this.
again for the
Yeah,
for the technical stuff.
yeah, the technical stuff. So let's get some news about that program, and we will put it available for everyone. And yeah, we of course continue speaking, and let's see if other conversations can come to
Yeah.
the general public.
Thank you so much.
Take
Thank you,
care of
everyone.
yourself.